Kathie Bugajski here at Anton Art Center, and we're doing a couple projects for the summer art camp since we're doing virtual. So you can still have fun at home and have some art projects. Today we're going to be doing paper mache, and we've picked a couple things, but you can do a myriad of things once you know how to use paper mache. We're going to do a little piggy bank today, and that is done with a balloon and some paper towels or toilet paper rolls. And I'm using egg carton tops for their feet and their ears. And so here we have the recipe for your paper mache. This recipe here is for flour and water and salt. I prefer this one over, there's another recipe for the glue. I used both. I felt that the flour mixture was a little bit better and easier to use. So what we do is obviously we blow up the balloon to get started. We add a couple anatomical things for the piggy, and I've already cut the nose. It's about an inch. I used my thumb or my finger knuckle to figure that out. And try and find where the center is. It might not quite be right at the balloon attachment. Then I've used, cut some tape, and you can also use, once you get it kind of placed, you can use your torn up newspaper. We use newspaper for paper mache, and we just cut it in small strips and kind of give it 1, 2, 3, one side. You get messy, so be ready. And you can attach it with that also if you don't have tape. It just takes a little bit more time maybe because it is wet. Alrighty, so we're gonna leave it like that, and then we'll attach the feet. Now you're gonna have to figure out where the feet might come in proximity of the nose. So I'm gonna line these up and hope that they will be stable. You wanna get it towards the back. I have some tissue here for my fingers for the goop. I'm going to use the tape right now because it's faster, just to get these on. And I might just do another one and leave it at that for time, but you're going to put 4 feet on them, on him, her, whatever. You can name your piggy too. Okay? And then you start building. So it starts to kind of look like a pig. We'll do the ears. I'm going to take the same foot that I used and cut it in half, like this. And once you get that kind of triangular shape, you can kind of get it a little moist and shape it. You don't want to get it too wet because you want it to stick. And if you get it too wet, obviously it will not stick with your tape. You'll have to use the paper mache. All right. So I'm just kind of molding this. That's the nice thing about eggshell cartons. They're very pliable and workable. All right. Let's see. Let's use some paper mache with this and see how it goes. Hope you guys are having fun. We've had great weather. Hope you're getting outside and looking for nature objects that you can make things with. That's always fun. So here I go. I'm just dunking it in my paper mache recipe. By the way, the recipe is up here and we'll have that online. But all it is a cup of flour, a cup of water, and a ½ teaspoon of salt. And what you do is you mix that with, you mix the water with the salt first, and then After that's mixed up and the salt is dissolved, then you add that salty water to the flour. The salt helps to kind of preserve it a little bit, and so it doesn't get moldy on you. Because you might wanna, this does take a long time. It's not real quick, because you have to let this dry then, and add about 3-4 layers once you get it all covered. So you just kind of have to play with this a little bit, and so you can see he's going to start taking some shape like this. Okay, there's one ear, and we'll get the second one on. Just kind of mold that around a little bit because they're not quite exactly ear looking. You kind of have to make them look like ears. Okay. And at first it might look kind of funny, but as you go along and you get a little bit more put down, you can squeeze it a little bit and make it look a little bit better. The flour and water really have a nice texture to them for the paper mache. And then it builds up as you go along, and once you get the first layer on, as you can see, it looks really funny right now, but as you build it up, it'll really start to take shape. I'm gonna wipe my fingers, grab some more. See, I just tore these. You don't need to cut them. It's actually better to tear them because then they have these fun little edges and they blend together better with your paper mache. All right, so let's see if I can't get a couple feet on here where we can make this a little more stable. Okay, 1, 2. You want to line them up so they're stable and they won't be top heavy. Okay. Try to tuck the tape in as close to the edge as you can so that you don't have a big gap there. All right, we've got one more, and then maybe we can make this stand up. Then we can start building. So be ready for your hands to get dirty. And if you don't like dirty hands, keep some towel handy so you can wipe them. Don't let it detour you. Okay, so I'm going to try and see if he'll stand up. I might have to reposition. Okay, he's a little top heavy because of the nose here. So probably what we'll do is set these feet a little more forward. Okay, let's see if that works. Oops. There, that'll work. Okay, see, we lost an ear, but easy peasy, we just put it back on. Line it up. And we'll start the building process. Okay. So, wipe a little on both sides if you can. And I'm going to start here back at the tail so he'll start to balance out a little bit. It's all about the weight. And the more you get on, you can even use what's on your hands just to pick up a piece and put it on. And then you start to overlap each piece that you put on and smooth it down once you get it on. You don't want a ton of this all in one place, so if you get a lot like that, just pick up a piece with your finger, and it's better to have smaller pieces in the beginning. Just kind of use what's ever on your hands and overlap a little bit. and smooth it on. Okay, there you go. Like I said, this first layer is kind of tedious and sometimes a little problematic, so don't be frustrated, just get it on, let it dry. It takes maybe a couple hours to dry, and then you can come back and do a second one. If you layer it all at one time, which you can do, it just takes a long time for it to dry. It might take a day or two because it's so thick. All right, so see, you just kind of get going. I got two here. I'm going to try to go quickly. Just overlay, overlay, overlay. Okay, so that's that process. Then as we get more on here, you'll have to reposition the ears and they'll become more stable. I could probably, oh, I see, I need one here in the front. That'll make him stand up a little bit more. Maybe two. And if you're sitting down, you can kind of balance this on your lap a little bit. Just make sure you have an apron on so that you don't get all this flour paper mache paste on you. Make sure that you wear, art clothes and not good clothes. Okay. Sometimes this happens. No problem. Just put it back on. Okay. So once I would get this all covered, then I would think about attaching a tail possibly, if you want a tail. I've taken some string, some twine that's natural, and a straw. I cut it short so it'd be easier to work with. And I'm just going to again use the paste and get some on here. It kind of becomes like working with clay in a way, a real soupy clay, which is always fun. It's gooey, tacky. And then I just wrap it around here like a corkscrew. And it sometimes will stay, get a little squeeze at the ends. Okay? Yep, it's going to stay. If one end goes a little bit off, that's good. Then you can, after this dries, then you can attach it here with some of the paper and the mache paste. I'm going to lay it here on my cookie rack because that way you get the air that goes up and around and it dries quickly, more quickly, and all around. Okay, so those are the parts. And then eventually, once you get 3 to 4 layers on, okay, it takes a long time, but it's fun. You're going to let that dry, and then it'll look like this little piggy, and you're ready to paint. I painted him all white first, and then I used the color that I wanted. It doesn't have to be pink. It can be blue piggy, green piggy, anything you'd like. All right, and then once it's good and dry, then you can slit the hole in it. And I'm going to show you a little catastrophe that I had. I was impatient and I only put 2 layers on. So don't be impatient because here's what happened to my piggy. I was trying to rush and get it ready for today. And with only 2 layers, there's not enough stability. So you want to make sure that you use 3 or 4 layers, okay? So then it'll turn out nice like this. I just happened to lean on something and it was not enough to keep it. All right, here's another little example of another piggy bank that you can make just out of jugs. I used the same eggshell cartons for his feet, but I used hot glue. So if you're younger, you might want to have mom or dad help you with the hot glue and put those on. And then I slit some slits in for the ear. I cut a milk jug out for his ears because that's nice and thin. And then of course we have access to get our money out because you have an opening. Okay, the other way, you have to fill your piggy bank and then, well, maybe you could cut a hole, I guess, in the bottom and still keep them. I cut more of the milk jug thin plastic and rolled the little tail around a pencil that time. So, and just kept twisting, twisting, twisting. And so there you have that little piggy. There's other things, like I said, that you can make out of paper mache. Last night I started a bracelet, and see, it's pretty stable. Once it dries, and this isn't completely dry yet. So I made the frame out of just taking a sheet of newspaper, okay, and I'm gonna set our piggy aside here. And I think the better thing to do if you wanted to do something like this is take some of your paper mache paste and kind of spread it around a little bit on the whole sheet. Because you're going to fold this and scrunch it. And you can make little pieces of jewelry. You can make a pin. Anything that your little heart can think about, you can pretty much make it out of paper mache. And then I'm just folding it. A little bit more all around. I'm using a plastic spoon. If you don't have a plastic spoon, ask mom or dad or grandma or grandpa what is a good spoon that I can use and not the good spoons. All right, so I'm just going to roll this up. It acts like glue because that's kind of what it is. All right, quick, quick, quick. And then if it's too wide, you can always just take it like that. Now, you're going to make it into the width that you need for your wrist. Okay, so I made a little circle, stuck my hand through it just to make sure I can get in and out of it. I'm holding it like this. Then I'm going to rip back, give it a little inch or so, and then I'm going to glue this together just like you would any other glue. Give it a squeeze. Now I'm going to take the paper mache strips and I'm going to close this up. I'm going to overlap it. It's messy, messy. Kind of spread this around and build up on that. And I'm going to go all the way around with the same process that I did the pig. And you're just going to build this up until you get the shape you want and the thickness. Oops. That little edge didn't get any, so I'll just put it in, squeeze it together. And if it tears, that's kind of a good thing. It'll kind of round over that edge and just mold it with your fingers. Like I said, it's kind of like clay. Okay? So then you let that dry. You paint that with flowers or whatever you'd like to do, designs, and voila. That's how you do paper mache. So, when you're bored and you want something to do, find some old newspapers, some flour, some water, and salt, and have a ball. All right, have fun. Bye-bye.